Hello there, it's Marina from the Butterfly Pick. This is a really short video to show you my saltwater cures from 2020 before I dispose of them. So it is the 3rd of February, the beginning of the Chinese Feng Shui New Year, and everything's up in the air, which is why my desk is looking the way it is. My whole house looks a wee bit like this, to be fair. But before I throw these bad boys in the bin, I wanted to show you what they look like. Because they draw in different energy from different areas. This is my whole point, not just what they look like after the fact, but the fact that the areas that get hit the most are going to be your most active areas in your property, and more specifically how your property faces or how your front door faces. So look at this one here. So this is obviously taking the absolute brunt of it. This was in my south sector, which is also my kitchen, so a really active area. Last year, or yesterday, the south sector would have been the 2-star, so it's a star of sickness and illness and general misfortune, but it also held the year breaker, and the 3 killings. So I knew it was going to be a stinker. And not only that, if you've been in your property long enough, there are only 9 flying stars, and they fly around the grid. So if you go back to 2011, it can give you an idea of what kind of year you're likely to have. And obviously moving into this year, you look back to 2012. Check I've got those dates right. So because it was south facing and it was also my kitchen, it's taken on the brunt, and you can see that it's been really active. Now, a lot of people do actually replace them throughout the year when they get to look like this, because they're considered to be unsightly. I don't. I actually don't find them unsightly. If you do, you can certainly, pop them behind another ornament or a picture frame or a curtain. You don't have to have them visible to be doing their job. But there was no way I could have hidden mine given where it was being hit, but I don't anyway, because they don't bother me. So the other thing I noticed last year, because this is the first year that I've actually used a combination of my usual kind of rock salt, and I used Himalayan salt as well, and I'm convinced that the Himalayan salt doesn't actually pull in quite as much as the other stuff. So I won't be using it this year, albeit I do think it's actually quite attractive. So that was the south, that was the 3 killings, and the year breaker. I was expecting it to be bad. Just a wee minute in. Obviously the rubber glove is because you're not supposed to touch them with your bare hands. They're full of nasty stinky energy, and you have to dispose of them very carefully. And the next one up, which wasn't hit quite as badly, as you can see, was in my east sector, which is the 5 yellow. This is a star of misfortune and all manners of loss. Now, because this is in my wet room, this is why it's not hit, in my opinion. It's naturally in active area. So even if I have a good star in that area, like this year, the 4 flies into the east, which is a really lovely star of academic success and romance. But there's not a thing I can do about it. I can activate it. But the flip side is when you get an absolute, shocker of a 5 in there, it literally just cannot impact you quite as much. I mean, that wet room has had a lot of issues this year. In fact, tail end of 2019, I had to have the ceiling replaced because of leaks and mildew and whatnot. And I've had the same issue the whole year. So, it just is what it is. But you can see that it's not actually been impacted quite so much. And now finally, this one has been barely touched. Actually still looks pretty attractive. Yeah. Now, I wouldn't normally remedy the 7 star. The 7 was in the center for 2020. It's the star of burglary. Mine's gone blank. Litigation, it's violence actually. The reason I actually remedied it is because obviously 2020 was going downhill rapidly. It was a case of what can I throw at it, It does also represent the respiratory system, and with obviously the pandemic coming in, I thought, well, do you know what, for the sake of 10 minutes of my time and sticking another one in, it was worth doing. So this is what went in my centre. As you can see, it hasn't really been impacted at all. It has picked up a little bit. And I think I put it in maybe, I'm not sure, it was probably April or May, when things were starting to look really really ropey. So it was just to show you not only just what they look like after the year, but how they can be impacted based on the room location that's been hit with this energy. So next up, at some point when I get my house back in order, which might not be today, I'll be doing a brief video on the flying stars for 2021, but really just in the main, the areas 2 and 5 that you need to you know, put your cures into. There are a few that you can add to that as well. It is the year of the ox, which is a pretty heavy energy. The 6th star is going to be flying into the center, which is actually a really nice star. It's a star of heavenly luck. But it's also the movement star, and with it being in the middle, I think, and the ox being super stubborn and doesn't really like to move, I think the overall theme is going to be, you know, a lack of movement, and yeah, that being an effort and stubborn energy, we shall see. But anyway, there you go. There's my 3 saltwater cures. This is what they look like after the fact, and have a good day.